All right, folks, you guys saw the title, SEC in serious trouble. Take a look at it, folks. This is breaking news. Coinbase has decided to sue the SEC over cryptocurrency or the lack of clarity for the cryptocurrency space. Let's take a look here, folks. Starting out here, we're looking at this one from Rand Neuner, another comment on the old Bitcoin addresses that are becoming active. He says this could be really scary. He says, I hope it's not a wallet generator that's been cracked. That could be catastrophic. Now, he's talking about the ledgers, the cold storage devices that we use for storing our crypto, right? Not your keys, not your crypto. If someone was able to hack the wallet generator, they might be doing something here. Now, I'm not here to spread FUD, and I'm not trying to make anybody scared here, but this is something of concern and definitely something interesting here. These old addresses that are over a decade old coming back active, and it's something to watch, and we'll continue to update you guys further on that situation. Now, the next one here in the United States, and this is what we're talking about here, the SEC is losing on everything. The House Financial Service Committee have released a new draft legislation to regulate stablecoin issuers. The bill requires that stablecoin issuers be approved and regulated. It also states that stablecoins are not securities and should not be regulated by the SEC. Now, how about that, folks? Major L potentially being handed down to the SEC. And, you know, we've been saying, the SEC has a case against a lot of crypto projects, 90% plus that did ICOs. They were unregistered securities offerings. And there was fraud committed to, obviously, scams, Ponzi schemes, and all sorts of crap that was happening in the cryptocurrency space and still is today. Until we get legislation passed, until we get regulations, until we get some clarity. We're fighting it out in the courts as well. But now we have the House Financial Services Committee releasing a new like we were talking about here with the update after last week, they basically tore up the old bill that they were working on, and they've now issued this new one. And this requires that stablecoin issuers be approved and regulated. But then it says it takes the clarity and the jurisdiction away from the SEC and says that stablecoins are not securities and they should not be regulated by the SEC. Now, this is just warming us up for the breaking news here, folks. Take a look at this one. Coinbase sues the SEC seeking regulatory clarity for the crypto industry. So we now have Coinbase has joined the ranks of Ripple fighting on behalf of the whole space, John Deaton, Fred Rispoli, who's also filed a motion for injunction. I think it's something separate from what Coinbase has done here, but nonetheless, we're going to compare the two. Fred Rispoli, another person, another lawyer, a brilliant legal mind who's made a counterattack against the SEC. But like we said, the case here has been led by Ripple, putting up $100 million in their battle against the SEC. We got John Deaton and his, almost 100,000 XRP holders standing behind John Deaton. Fred Rispoli, who's filed some interesting motions, and he actually filed the motion against Coinbase. So now it's funny. Fred Rispoli and Coinbase now are going to be both on the same side against the SEC, even though Fred Rispoli just filed the class action lawsuit against Coinbase for our Songbird and our Flare tokens, which I guess shout out to Coinbase for finally giving us our Flare. Like two years later, right? We finally get our Flare. But nonetheless, Coinbase joined the ranks with those lawyers, and then along with Warren Davidson, as we just covered in the last episode, how Warren Davidson introducing legislation to essentially fire Gary Gensler and get rid of his position. So the SEC starting to take some, or potentially about to take some major L's. Gary Gensler, the SEC, getting stripped of their jurisdiction and the duties of regulating stablecoins potentially. And then we already know that best case scenario against Ripple, they're going to be able to settle up for some early sales potentially, right? Best case scenario for the SEC, really. There's no way to make XRP a security, right? It can be packaged up in some investment contracts that may or may not have happened with Ripple in the early years, right? And so they might get a settlement, they might get a little something there, but you're seeing the SEC getting stripped of jurisdiction from stablecoins with this new bill. You're seeing the action here by Coinbase seeking regulatory clarity, Fred Rispoli, another one fighting the good fight, along with John Deaton and Ripple. And so, folks, just remember, right, on behalf of all Americans, this is embarrassing. This is a shame. We are not proud of how our country is being ran and regulated at this point, but we're going to continue fighting and supporting the list of names here, the list of the companies who are actually going to put up a fight, not cower and settle to the SEC, but actually put up a fight. And so we love to see it, and we're going to be praying, we're going to be hoping here, regulatory clarity coming, SEC Ripple lawsuit conclusion, and you guys know what happens after that. God bless all of you guys. We'll see you in the next one. The SEC in some serious trouble. God bless.